Hello everyone and welcome back to the Citadel of Chaos. When last we left off, we just gained entrance to the Citadel itself, to the tower. And now we're about to set out. We need to find our way to the top floor of the tower and find and face our target, Balthus Dyer. We are now in a narrow hallway. This continues for several meters and ends in a doorway. Halfway along the passage we can see an archway where some steps lead downwards. Okay, we don't want to go downwards, we need to climb the tower, so let's either climb or stay on the level that we are. So we will go forwards to the door. We try the handle of the door and it turns, opening into another hallway. Some distance along, the passageway turns to the right and ends shortly in another door. On this door there is a sign which reads, "Please ring for butler." A rope, evidently the bell, hangs by the door. Okay, we could now ring for the butler, but we don't want to draw attention to ourselves, so let's just try to be sneaky and simply enter the place, see where that leads us. Again, the door opens, but as we open it, we hear the deafening clanging of an alarm bell. Oh. Okay, we need to test our luck. This is not good. We might be caught up here. Okay, we are lucky that that was a given, since our luck stat was at full at 12, so any roll would have been a successful luck roll. Let's see what happens. We slam the door shut behind us, and above the clanging bell we can hear the sound of footsteps running quickly and getting closer. The corridor ahead forks two ways. Will we spring ahead and take the right fork or the left fork, or will we go back through the door and ring for the butler? I don't think that would work, so we now need to make a quick decision. We could turn left or right, but if you recall, we just took a turn to the left. We just took a turn to the right just a moment ago. So that means that the farthest place, if we measure it from the courtyard, is probably to our left. So it seems that the left fork would be a better choice. I presume that the tower is on the far end of this compound. So let's go there. The footsteps we heard, which really ought to be called hand steps, belong to three wheelies, which now roll down the passageway towards us, forcing us back to the door. These creatures are peculiar beasts, having, instead of legs, an extra set of hands. They move by cartwheeling along at quite a rapid pace. Their heads, or at least their faces, are set in the center of their chests. While they are not well practiced at swordsmanship, given their awkward means of movement, they are excellent knife throwers. Grasping knives from their belts as they spin along, they can launch them at a rapid-fire pace, like large Catherine wheels. At the moment, 3 such knives are speeding their way already towards us. Okay, these guys look more ridiculous than dangerous, but apparently they are the guards employed on at least on the entrance level of the Citadel. Let us not underestimate them. And first of all, there are 3 daggers flying towards us, so there is a choice to be made here. Should we use up a shielding spell scroll, one of the 2 that we have, or should we test our luck? Well, these 3 daggers look dangerous, or sound dangerous, and besides we are under direct attack, so I'd say that it's time to burn one of our spells. This will be the first one we've used. So let's use our shielding spell scroll to protect us from the incoming projectiles. The knives hit our magic shield and drop to the ground. The wheelies likewise bump into the shield and bounce off, somewhat mystified. They chatter to each other, holding us at bay while our spell wears off. They seem to reach some sort of agreement, and one rolls off back up the corridor, presumably to fetch help. This is not good news. This is precisely the opposite of what we were aiming to do. Let's see if we can dispose of these two and reach the third one, or at least get out of here before we are in even more trouble than we currently are. The other two wheelies reach for their belts and pull out small blowpipes. Putting some kind of pellets into their mouths first, they prepare to aim. We will have to leap on them first with our sword, which we shall do. Let's fight them. They don't seem to be very dangerous on close range, in melee range, so let's hope we can beat them that way. And that's right. The first wheelie has a skill level of 7, so it's not that bad. And as I say it, the first wheelie just hit us and dealt 2 stamina damage to us. It's fine. And he's down. The second wheelie is weaker, with a skill level of 6. Should be easy pickings. And he is. Okay, we win, so we may leave and take either the left-hand passage or the right-hand passage. Well, our objective has not changed. We were just pushed back to the door, so let's go to the left-hand passage. The passage runs along for several meters and then ends at a door. We listen at the door and can hear a deep, heavy breathing coming from inside, as if some large creature were asleep in there. Cautiously, we try the handle and the door opens. Just inside, although the room is dark, we can see that a very large, goblin-like creature is asleep on the floor. Okay, we can try entering the room or return the other way that we just skipped. Well, once again, we don't want to go in the opposite direction, so let's try walking through this room, see what happens. We tiptoe into the room. The room is gloomy and the air is damp. A crude wooden post is nailed to one wall with several hooks on it. There are 2 doors in the far wall leading onwards. On the post, hanging on the wall, is a makeshift mirror, but as our torch lights up the mirror, its reflection is thrown across the eyes of a sleeping giant who grunts and stirs. One eye opens, then another, and seeing us, it springs to its feet. It grabs an axe, which it was using as a pillow, must have been awfully comfortable, and it quickly undoes the leather sheath to reveal a sharp bronze head. This giant creature is a Gark. Large and brutish, Garks are half goblin, half giant, bred by master sorcerers for their aggressive character. Although somewhat stupid, they are rather tough beasts with a warlike nature. And yes, they also seem to don a very peculiar hairdo. Interesting. Alright, here is that mirror that caught our lantern or our torch, right? And this guy seems to be quite a dangerous guard, so no doubt about it. But at least he doesn't seem to be magically apt, at least. What will we do? We could dash for the doors. I don't think that's a great idea. We could try apologizing and for disturbing the creature, and it might work. This creature is stated to be stupid, so we might talk our way out of this. We could use a spell scroll, also not a bad idea. So I'm thinking we could resolve this situation without a bloodshed, but the wheelie has already run off, and I don't want to leave another hostile creature right in our back. There is no telling what's ahead of us right now, so one escaped enemy is more than enough. I don't want to double their numbers, so instead let's just try to make quick work of this Gark and proceed that way. This should not lower our odds, as you know, it's a guard, so it's supposed to attack us on sight, even if the wheelie or any other creature finds its dead body. We are already kind of on the run anyway. The large and fearsome Gark approaches, raising its giant weapon to swing at us. Ooh, scary. Well, this Gark is not that dangerous as you might think. It has a skill level of 7, but it's quite tough in the sense that it has a stamina level of 11, which is sturdy. And I'm thinking we should use our enchanted dagger right now. Yes, it's a one-time item, to use only, but the thing is that it probably is not very effective against non-magical creatures. Against magical creatures, and I'm not sure how many more non-magical creatures we'll find in the future, so we should use it up right now. And yeah, and then we are definitely certain that we have caused some damage with it, so we'll use it now. And I think this was a good idea. The Gark's stamina level is down to 9, and again, I'm not sure we could have used it later on, so let's fight it. Since it has a stamina level of 9, well, now it's 7, but it is an odd number. I'm going to use one lock roll to see what happens, and it works. And now we need only 2 more hits to get rid of this creature, and he's dead. Didn't even scratch us. We have defeated this gargantuan foe. The great Gark lies dead on the ground. We wait for a minute to see whether the commotion attracted any guards, but all appears to be safe. We go through the creature's effects but find little of value. Inside the pouch, strung around its waist, are 6 gold pieces, hooray, and an ornate hairbrush. We add these to our haversack and continue onwards. I shudder to think why a Gark with such a lovely hairdo needed an ornate hairbrush, but most likely it was just a piece of jewelry or junk that he was carrying around. Like, it was probably just some valuable currency to him, or maybe he liked shiny objects. We will never know now. We leave the chamber and there are 2 doors in front of us. Okay, so the last turn we took was to the left. There is no indication which one is the right one, so let's mix things up. We are now going to take the right-hand door. The door opens into a short passageway which is paved with small stones. A short distance further on, an ornately carved door marks the end of the passage, but just before the door, a side passage leads off to the left. We approach the door, listening for any signs of life inside. As we touch the handle, a voice says, "Do not knock, just enter from inside." Okay, we could still leave, and this passage is probably leading us to the other passageway, to the left door that we did not take. But I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, somebody just noticed that we're right outside the door. Running away doesn't seem like a very wise course of action. So instead, let's just enter and see what happens. If it's a battle, then we'll take it. But hopefully we can avoid more bloodshed. We enter a room which is evidently a library of some sort. Books stretch from ceiling to floor on each wall, and several tables and chairs are lined down the center of the room. At the far end sits a dark-skinned man who looks up at us from a book over narrow eyeglasses. Behind him is a door. "Yes, what is it?" he snaps. "Which book are you looking for?" We scan the various shelves which are labeled. Which book will we ask him for? Wow, that's great. This is precisely what we wanted. We definitely need some good intel on, well, on on our surroundings, on our target, whatever. So let's see what sounds interesting of these books. We could request the biographies of Balthasar. This is definitely something that we want to check out. We could ask for the secrets of the Black Tower also. Sounds useful. Maybe we find a hidden passageway or something. We could inquire about the creatures of the kingdom of Kragenrock, which is also a great idea. Probably there are some foes or opponents that we have not yet met, and we could gather some information about them. But let's focus. We have a mission, and our mission is to assassinate Balthus Dyer. And I think that the most useful book out of these options is the one that describes the secrets of the Black Tower. That could help us get to him. So let's pick this one at least first. He indicates a section on the shelves, and we take a book to one of the tables to read through it. The book is most enlightening, tracing the history of the Citadel. The Black Tower was built by Balthus Dyer's grandfather. As it became a sanctuary for the forces of evil, law and order gradually made way for chaos, as the monstrous creatures battled their way up the power hierarchy. Dyer's grandfather eventually found it necessary to protect himself from his minions by setting up various protective traps between the creatures and his own dwellings, most notable of these being the Doom Pit trap and the magical combination lock on the door to his own room. The combination of the lock is 217. We read further about the various secret passageways that permeate the Citadel. I cannot express how useful this has been. We have learned about something called the Doom Pit trap, and for some reason the combination on the lock to the private chambers of the Lord of the Citadel of Chaos is written down in a book. And we have it now. I mean, this is some sloppy security right here. It's awesome. This is some great luck. And we can still read on. There is nothing hindering us or threatening us. So we could leave, but this is definitely a once in a lifetime opportunity to get some better information about, you know, our target. So let us ask the librarian for the section on Balthus Dyer. He points to a section just above the floor which we peruse. Eventually we choose one volume and settle down to read through it. Balthus Dyer is apparently third in a line of sorcerer warlords ruling over the Black Tower and the kingdom of Kragan Rock. He rose to power after the death of his father, Kragan Dyer, some years ago. The Dyers have been masters of black sorcery for generations, but their strength and power last during the nighttime only. Sunlight is like a poison to them. Shortly after his father's death, Balthus Dyer married the Lady Lucretia, herself a black sorceress, and since that time they have ruled together over the kingdom of Kragan Rock. How romantic! As we finish the book, we notice that the librarian is holding his hand to his ear, apparently listening to something. He glances up at us quizzically. Okay, this was also useful. So sunlight is like poison to them. This would have been great information prior to approaching the Citadel. And if you recall, we entered the courtyard just as the sun set. So since we don't want to wait around till the morning lest we get caught, this sounds like this sounds like superfluous information which we could have used under other circumstances, whatever. We also learned that his wife is called Lady Lucretia, and she is also a dangerous black sorceress, so if we ever find her, we should not underestimate her. Okay. Now this has still been extremely useful, so we are going to look for another useful book which may aid us on our quest. Definitely we are still in no rush to leave, so let's see if we can find something else. As we study the shelves, we hear a commotion behind us. Oops. We wheel around in time to see orc-like creatures, armed and on guard, materializing one after the other behind us. They advance and surround us. The tallest one moves his face close to ours and blows a puff of breath straight into our eyes. The room spins and we slump to the ground, unconscious. Wow. Okay, so the defense systems of the Citadel finally caught up with us. I believe that the wheelie has a hand, one of its four hands has a hand in this. Um, well, the bad news is that we have been caught and kind of knocked unconscious. The good news is that we are not dead, so they didn't decapitate us or anything. If you think about it, not sure that they would know what we are here for, right? So we might just be some kind of thief or troublemaker. I don't think they presume that we came to assassinate the master of this establishment. So anyway, they didn't kill us outright, which is the good news. The bad news is that we're caught and probably we're in a bit of a pickle right now. And we need to get out of that. So our mission hasn't changed. We will still need to get to Balthus Dire eventually. But we need to get out of this conundrum first, obviously. But that is going to happen in another time, because I think just as we are lying on the ground unconscious, this is a great time to make the split of the video right here. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.